question what religion tells you. I've actually gotten to the point where I'm trying to even question my own reality of like what is actually real. Like, I do I actually know what if this microphone's real, or is it my perception of everything I've gone through that thinks that this is real because I constructed that reality? Don't tell your friends to get onto self-improvement because they're not ready for it. They cannot comprehend it because there's probably a point that ourselves, like for me, there's probably a point where someone might try to tell me, but I was like, nah. It's like you kind of, well, not always, but self-improvement as a niche, it's very common to like look at it from a standpoint of the what's it called, the Fight Club effect, where it's, or in Fight Club they kind of like talk about how like self-help and self-improvement is just mental masturbation.
Oh,
yeah.
I think that's another thing with the whole self-improvement space. I feel like people, they tend to like, they'll consume self-improvement content, but like it's just like that dopamine hit, but then they're not actually like applying the actual like knowledge.
But there's also the process of like, what I've also realized is it doesn't happen same day. A lot of things don't happen the same day. So it makes sense that even though it is a slow process, yes, people can just get stuck in the loop, and that's just the entire loop, and they don't leave that. But then there is a way to, you do kind of transcend it. You move into the next thing. You actually start taking action and doing the things that is in that, and it can actually help you. And that's what I really like about it. I like about self-improvement is able to transcend just learning and consuming it. So like we're way too complex. Human beings are way too complex to really be like, oh yeah, they just automatically they're going to start doing and taking action. No, like everything takes time. It's a thing that builds. Like a easy way to put it too is if you look at it, like, have you ever seen the movie Inception?
Heard of it, but not never seen it.
Okay, so essentially what that whole movie is about is it's a heist movie about going into this guy's mind to plant an idea that is his own idea. So when they leave his mind, it's his idea. So that's the whole movie. It's like basic level concept. And then each time they go into a lower level of like the subconscious, it gets tougher and tougher. But it's like when you say like that idea, it gets stronger and stronger the further you go down. They go down in this movie. And that's what's really interesting about it is like, if you look at it from that standpoint of, if you have an idea or something that it starts at a surface level, but then it goes deeper and then deeper and then deeper and then deeper. And then when it's finally at that like true deep stage, that's where it's going to start, actually, you're going to start acting on it because it's made it that far. But if it hasn't made it that far, what's going to make it take action? Like, not like there's people out there who they're not going to even take action on taking self-improvement because they don't even understand it, and it's not even something it's not even a concept they understand. They don't even think about it. And that's why it's so common too in self-improvement to say, don't tell your friends to get onto self-improvement because they're not ready for it. They cannot comprehend it because there's probably a point that ourselves, like for me, there's probably a point where someone might try to tell me, but I was like, nah. Like I remember when I was in high school, like in middle school, I hated it, working out and doing like gym stuff and like lifting weights. Now I love it. Like, it's like at that time, I tried to do it, but I couldn't stay consistent. I truly couldn't. I was never thinking about it. I never looked at it from a standpoint of, oh, it makes me healthier, or, oh, it does this. Oh, I look better. Like, that wasn't a concept or an understanding I had at the time, and I couldn't even think of that. So that's kind of like why I look at it. It's like, yes, it is, but you need something to then have it sink lower, lower, and lower, and get to that level.
So, do you see a connection between self-improvement and religion?
Should I answer that, or?
I mean, that's a hard question, honestly. Like, I think there is like maybe a little bit of a connection, because I guess like I actually don't really have an answer. That's a
I'll
very
give my 2 cents on this
sure. Yeah.
because I am not a religious person. In all honesty, I am the furthest thing from being a religious person. Recently, I did go down a path of like learning more about Islam,
Hmm.
but I never like stuck to it.
Right.
I understand it from since I was learning about ego recently.
Right.
I have an understanding of I question everything, like question things a little bit more. So I question religion and its tactics.
Hmm.
So I find like there is a connection between the two because there are a lot of people who are on self improvement who are also religious.
Right.
It's very common. There is a little bit of a connection there.
Okay.
Like, so I see how that is there, but I also see it from a standpoint of I question what religion tells you. I've actually gotten to the point where I'm trying to even question my own reality
Right.
of like what is actually real. Like,
Right.
I do I actually know what if this microphone's real, or is it my perception of everything I've gone through that thinks that this is real
If you like
because I
this
can.
clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the full podcast, click right here, like right now. I don't know what you're waiting for.